Hello, my friends. This is Donnie,
And Sandra.
and we are coming to you from Hertford County. This is county number 75. But we share all the fun facts and we do reviews on the places that we stay. And so please check those out. And we also do urban legends and ghost stories in each of the counties if we can find one. And so I found two. And this county here, the other one that I went through was the Ghost Light at Early Station, the Ghost Light at Early Station. So make sure you check that out. But this one here is called the Brown Lady of
Chowan.
Chowan. I always got to ask Sandra how to pronounce that because I keep messing it up. But it's the Brown Lady of Chowan University. And I did get this ghost story from www.northcarolinaghosts.com. I'll have a link in the description below for you guys to check out. Facebook people, make sure you look in the description above. If you guys want to check this out and maybe have some fun on a sleepover or your next camping adventure, you guys can talk about this. But we are going to go through this. There's a lot of information in this story I want to share with you. And so let's get started. Chowan University is a small Baptist school in Murfreesboro. Once one article stated Chowan University is a Christian educational institution founded in 1848 and named Chowan, which means people of the South.
Oh.
I may not know how to pronounce it, but I know what it means. It means people of the South.
See, I thought it was an Indian name.
And it says to honor the Native American Algonquin Chowanuk tribe.
Okay.
Murfreesboro is a small town in the Albemarle region that sits on the Meherrin, that's Meherrin River. The school was founded in 1848 as Chowan Baptist Female Institute, then a four-year women's school. In the more than a century and a half, the school has been around. It's seen many changes. The school began admitting men in 1931 and has changed its name several times, settling on Chowan University in 2006. Through the school's many changes, its students still treasure their days at the school, and many loyally return every year for alumni days. But there's one student whose loyalty goes even further than that. The Brown Lady of Chowan is said to visit her old dormitory every year on Halloween night.
Ooh.
When the sounds of her brown, it's taffeta.
Taffeta.
Is it taffeta? Is that how you pronounce that? It's a fine, lustrous silk or similar synthetic fabric.
Yes, it's
with
taffeta.
with a crisp texture. I actually looked that word up, and I'll show some pictures of what that is on the screen so you guys can see that. So
many a prom dress in the 80s and 90s was made out of taffeta.
Yeah, and again, I may not know how to pronounce it, but I know what it is, and so for your perusal, this is what it is. Skirt, anyway, it's a skirt, can be heard rustling through the corridors, and this is despite the fact that she died over 100 years ago. The story of the Brown Lady dates back to the 19th century, according to the legend. Ealing Davidson was the beloved daughter of a wealthy family from Northampton County. Ealing, that's E-O-E, now I'm going to spell the name. It's E-O-L-E-N-E. Ealing. That's a very unusual name.
Is it Eoline?
Ealing, it's E-O-L-E-N-E. I'm just going to say it's Ealing. Was reportedly beautiful. Another article stated she was a pleasant, sweet-natured girl of 19, tall and slender, with wavy black hair fair complexion, and dreamy blue eyes. Friendly, kind, and loving, with her family's fortune, she could easily have led a life of leisure. But she was determined to pursue an education and make something of her life. And so in 1885, she enrolled at the Chowan Baptist Female Institute. But the summer before she started classes, Eileen traveled to New York City to visit a friend of hers. In the months she stayed in the city, she became acquainted with a young lawyer named James Lorraine. The two soon found themselves spending more and more time in each other's company. They shared similar interests, a passion for learning, and both were quick witted and enjoyed talking late into the evening. As September, as September and Ealing's schedule returned to North Carolina drew closer, the young couple realized that over the summer they had grown to love one another. One evening, James asked Ealing if she would marry him. Eileen was torn. She truly loved James, but her desire to learn burned deep within her. And so she and James came to an agreement. The two of them would be married when she completed her education. Smart girl, very smart. And so Eileen returned from the excitement of New York to find fields of eastern North Carolina and began her studies at Chowan. Chowan. How am I saying it?
Chowan.
Chowan.
It's Chowan.
Okay, whatever. You guys know what I mean. Institute. Now I'll say this right now. Fields of Eastern North Carolina describes this area we're in
definitely.
very, very well. Now, going on. Eileen was an eager student and she threw herself into her studies, but she also soon became among her fellow students for her joy, her wit, and her kindness. She also became known for a distinct personal style. She seemed to own an unlimited supply of brown silk dresses. The voluminous brown, what was it? How do you pronounce it? Taffeta? Taffeta. She preferred made a distinct rustling sound as she moved through the halls. She was given the friendly nickname, the Lady in Brown. After completing her freshman year, the Lady in Brown returned home to her family. Her fiance traveled down from New York to spend the summer, and he was immediately welcomed in by her family. Her parents could see that the two were a well-matched pair, even though it was still 3 years in the future. Her mother began planning the wedding. When September came, James returned to New York and Eileen returned to Chowan. I'm saying Chowan, heck with it. She once again threw herself into her studies, but soon something was wrong. And early in October, she began to feel ill. She developed a fever, and it was soon clear that her condition was serious. She took to her bed in the middle of the month, and while her friends around her hoped for her recovery, Eileen herself feared the worst. In the last week of October, as she lay in bed, she asked for James to be sent from New York. When James received the telegram, he immediately boarded the next train headed south. There were no direct lines for New York to this rural part of the state, and so he spent the next few days anxiously moving from line to line, station to station, only occasionally sleeping fitfully in his seat as the train rumbled on. When his last train pulled into the small station at Seaboard, he hired a horse and rode all night to Murfreesboro, arriving at dawn on the morning of November 1st. But it was too late. Eileen had died the night before on Halloween.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But, excuse me, it goes on. The school fell into mourning for the beloved lady in brown. James was heartbroken, and after the funeral, he returned to New York and to his legal career. He never married. But the next Halloween night, the students heard a strange sound in the halls of Chowan. One article stated it was on the third floor of the Columns building. Her footsteps being heard by security guards led to brief chases, thinking it was unauthorized students. It was the sound of rustling silk moving through the hallways, just like the sound that the brown silk dresses Ealing always wore had made. The next year, the sound returned, and the year after that, the legend soon grew that every year on Halloween, Ealing's spirit would walk the halls. Some say that it was her spirit still waiting for her fiance to arrive. Some say that once her spirit left her body, she quietly got up and resumed her studies. Another version says she appears to test the spirit of loyalty of the students and to see if they have fallen away from their lofty ideals at Chowan. Um, in the century that passed since Ealing's death, the brown lady has become a beloved part of the tradition of Chowan tradition. Every year, the brown lady's return is greeted with a vigil. From the Chowan students and members of the town, when on Halloween night people gather in the dormitory to listen for the sound of the brown silk rustling through the hallways. Chowan holds a Brown Lady Academic Bowl in her honor. The campus creative writing magazine is titled The Brown Lady, and I'll let you guys see a picture of that come up on the screen. The Brown Lady is an academic and creative publication. It brings together the best work of students exploring a range of disciplines in their chosen fields, everything from creative work in the visual arts, creative writing, prose, the ordinary form of spoken or written language without metrical structure, as distinguished from poetry or verse, and poetry itself, and music performed to academic pursuits represented by undergraduate and graduate level papers. Another version of the story states that the story of the Chowan uh, ghost known as the Brown Lady begins around the time of the Civil War. The woman who was a student at the time was engaged to a man who died in battle. When she received news, she either died of a broken heart or jumped to her death. Other paranormal reports. Its music hall is haunted by a piano playing ghost, while the second floor or mixing hall is haunted by the ghost of a student who hanged himself. Belks Hall is haunted by both a student who committed suicide and a screaming, laughing little girl who rode her tricycle down the stairs. And that is the story of the Brown Lady of
Chowan.
University. And so, any rate, guys, you got anything to say?
That's really
That's a
sad.
long story. So
That's really sad, though.
again, different versions,
No.
but something
But
happened.
did she really die?
She evidently, there was some real girl that went to school there that met her fate.
That's so sad, though.
And
she wanted to just do her schoolwork and make something of herself, and she ended up dying.
well, you know, back then they didn't have the medical.
Yeah.
They haven't grown to.
I mean, people still die today of
Yeah,
illnesses like that. They can't.
Doesn't say what she had necessarily, but whatever it was, it took her. It took her pretty quick, and so and again, it's one of those.
Sad.
Evidently there's some truth to it because.
Do you have a picture of her?
Yes, there is a picture that you guys will see come up on the screen, and actually, I'm actually looking, and I don't see a picture of her. All I have is it's just a drawing of. They said the Brown Lady at the magazine. I've got a picture of her there. A picture. It's just a picture, a drawing. I thought I had a picture
What
of
was her
her.
name again?
Ealing. That doesn't. Let
Her
me
last
look
name?
back on here. Um,
Maybe we can look her up.
I know her. Give me a minute here. Ealing Davidson.
Okay, we need to look her up.
Ealing Davidson. Guys, if I find any other pictures than what I have at the time of this recording, I will put them on the video, put them on the screen for you. I'm thinking of another ghost story where I do have a picture of a young lady, and she looks like she has very pale eyes, pale, like bluish, grayish
Mm-hmm.
eyes. And so, that's what I was thinking. But when I looked in my file just now, I don't see it, and so it must be. It's somewhere else. It's another picture that I have of her. But if I'm able to find anything else that shows an actual picture of her, then I'll put it up on the screen. And so, but other than that, that is the last ghost story for Hertford County that I have. And again, guys, if you want to learn more and more ghost stories, go to www.northcarolinaghost.com and you will see all types of real good stuff that they got there. Well, you check it out and check out that website. And I actually got a mug and a magnet from them. And so I think about a year ago, they redid their website and the artwork,
Mm-hmm.
and so I think it's cool looking. And so, but anyway, guys, we're going to let you go. You guys take care, be safe, and stay spooky.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.